Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing episodes 3 and 4 of Loki on Disney+. I will be discussing spoilers, so that is your warning. If you are not up to date with the show, step away now and come back later. If you remember, the first two episodes had left me a little bit uncertain about the show. I don't really know where it's going, I don't really know what it's aiming to do. But I do think there's a lot there to enjoy. So diving straight into episode 3, the female Loki, also known as Sylvie, and our Loki, they escape to another apocalyptic moment in the far, far future on a planet that we have not visited before. I've seen a lot of people say that they really like the set design here, but I have to admit, maybe I'm the only voice here that feels this way, but my first thought when I looked at this set of this new planet was, is this just the Tatooine set that they used on Mandalorian and they've just sort of put some neon lights on it? That was genuinely what I thought. It feels like Tatooine, just with a purple sky. I thought that was pretty cheap, if I'm being honest. And this little misadventure on this dying planet is kind of the gimmick of this episode. It really doesn't serve any point at all. It's just a vehicle to allow some downtime to explain what's going on, who's who, and why are things happening. And the real big issue I had with this episode was the actress who plays Sylvie. I believe her name is Sophia Di Martino. I initially just felt like she was in a boxing ring with Tom Hiddleston, and Tom Hiddleston was outperforming her left, right and centre, and she just couldn't keep up with him. I thought it was really glaringly obvious when they were sharing dialogue that they just weren't on the same page performance-wise. That being said, I do think she grows into the role as it goes on, but I just didn't really connect with her here. I didn't really see what the casting director saw. I wouldn't have made that choice myself if that was the footage I was going off on my own. It felt like an impression of Loki rather than a fully realised rendition of Loki. But I do enjoy the fact that they stopped and talked and discussed the differences in their two simultaneous lives. Our Loki was never told that he was adopted. He found that out later on in life and it scarred him quite significantly. Sylvie found that out very young and it did not affect her life in the same way that it did Loki. Although it's the same situation, the way it unfolded changed their path. I like that. I love that sort of stuff with time travel. That's great. More of that, please. So I'm going to give episode 3 a 7 out of 10. Real flip-flop episode for me. There was stuff I really did like and there was stuff I really didn't like. But it still kept me curious and interested into knowing where this is going to go. So episode 4 of Loki pretty much continues where it left off. The TVA are still looking for the two Lokis that are hiding on this planet that is going to be destroyed anytime now. Loki and Sylvie share a moment where it looks like they might kiss or, admit feelings for each other, and that alone breaks the timeline. It wasn't necessarily the planet dying, it wasn't necessarily them being together, but the possibility of Loki being with Loki really would blow things up here. And that essentially puts up a signal for the TVA to find them, kidnap them, bring them back, questioning time 2. I thought it was directed well, edited well, written well, and the structure of delivery was perfect. The way they made Loki worry about Sylvie, the way they dropped in on Sylvie every now and then just to sort of let you know what's happening there. It was put into a fantastic order, and I know that's something that so many people would take for granted because it's just editing, it's just putting things in order. But I thought they did such a good job of structuring that part that it always kept me interested and paying full attention to see what really is happening here. We essentially find out that Sylvie was right about the TVA and that's why she was going after them. The whole thing is a lie. The people who work at the TVA are variants just like they are. They were kidnapped, picked up off the street, had their memories wiped, and now they think that this is all there is to life, which is fun and cool, but the big question is, why? and who's behind it. We seemingly lose Owen Wilson in this episode. He seems to come to terms with what Loki and Sylvie are saying, that the TVA is a lie, and he gets pruned, as they call it, which is being zapped with this time stick that seems to quite physically and literally erase you from existence. Well, Owen Wilson got pruned, so I don't think he's in the show anymore, which is a shame because he was great, and him and Tom Hiddleston really were the piece de resistance here, but also because I really liked his character and I wanted to know more about him. I really hope he isn't done here, and there's a good chance he could still come back despite finding this part very confusing after a couple of minutes fighting in front of the timekeepers and finding out that the timekeepers are in fact these robots being controlled by someone else who we don't know yet. Loki also gets pruned, only to find out that in the after credits sequence, he wakes up seemingly in another timeline where Richard E. Grant is this timeline's Loki. I thought Richard E. Grant's suit was really cheap, but I like it, if that makes sense. Like, I think it looks really bad, but I also like it. I don't know, that's on me, that one. I'm very confused and super intrigued. I want to know where this is going. I think that's a big problem for me with this programme. When I started this show, I had some sort of idea of what this was going to be with time travel and various versions of Loki, and to a degree, it is that. However, I had the impression that that would be 80% of it, and maybe there'll be 20% worth of some sort of storyline in the middle of it all. It seems to be the other way around. It seems to be 80% story, 20% time fuckery. And that's okay, but it's just important to put yourself on a level playing field and not judge the show because it isn't what you thought it was going to be or necessarily what you wanted. I cannot put my finger on where this is going. Every episode, something else happens, and I'm just like, well, that's all my theories out the window. This episode was a big step forward for me. I think they really did up the stakes and push the story forward here, and also give very good character development in between. So I'm going to give episode 4 a 9 out of 10. I'm a little bit concerned that with 2 episodes left, this might not nail the landing, and I have had that concern with every single one of these Marvel shows so far. Maybe you need to be doing a little bit more time on them. Maybe they do need to be a bit longer. Give yourself a bit more space to throw the ball around, have some ideas, leave some tangents out there to become new things. I don't need these shows to be so in the pocket. Thanks for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any uploads. Be sure to leave a like, and of course, please leave a comment. I am personally lost with this show in regards to theories, so I would absolutely love to hear what some of you guys think is going on here. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.